about, you brought this up earlier when we were in the first episode. So we had the first episode, we were talking, and you were talking about what you were going to do after education, because listeners want to catch up, you know.
Yeah, true. Oh, sorry.
Don't. Because go ahead. It's just like, I want to build a story because, I mean, you're a student during a pandemic. That wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Like, explain.
Yes.
Explain March to me.
To be honest, I have just had a streak of really good opportunities throughout lockdown, to be honest. So like initially my thesis, I wanted to do something on environmental development. All the people who could have ran that were on sabbatical that year. Okay. And then I emailed this guy I know, Bill Lionheart, who was my supervisor. Big love for Bill Lionheart. Anyways, I was asking if he had any work in that I could work on. He said, yeah, I've got this thing on the coronavirus. And I was chatting to him.
Yes, she does. Did you hear that, corona?
Coming for you.
Coming for you.
But so a guy that I originally wanted to supervise my PhD turns out to be really good mates with Bill. And Bill is in my master's supervisor.
Okay, cool.
So Bill, who's in maths, is like, oh,
let me talk to this
my
guy.
favourite meteorologist. Like, of course it's going to work out. And so I had a few emails of like both of them, and then I really recently got an opportunity to develop offshore renewable energy in Uni of Manchester, and it's all dependent on this dissertation grade, but it will be fine. But
you got this.
Yeah. It's kind of all fallen through so beautifully. I was kind of thinking I was going to not stay in education at all and then suddenly get offered like a 3-year fully funded place. So you can't really turn that stuff down. And something that I've always wanted to do. So it's just like...
It's amazing. Like, I just found it was just crazy because the thing is like... Me, if you know Leah, we always say, oh yeah, but Leah will just Leah it. You know what I mean? We'll just be like, and Leah, I guess, is a term to be like, oh, when things are going, you're doing things, but then you Leah it when it's like, when you just go all in, it's sick and you smash life. And like, she'll be worried. And I'm like, oh, don't worry, Leah will Leah it. It'll be calm, it'll calm.
Oh, honestly.
And I found it jokes because like, obviously, uni's closing, everything's shutting down. She was studying Corona, right? And then Corona decided it wanted to teach. So everything was lock off. Everything was lock off. And now she's back studying Corona, doing the mathematical equations to infinite possibilities of multiple mutations of a virus, because that's what a virus is.
This virus is crazy, mate. It's honestly...
It's crazy. And you're not even fucking 23 yet.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're sick. Like,
mate, when I was worried, you were like, you'll Leah it. I was like, oh yeah.
You're not worried, Leah.
Sure will.
I guess maybe this is the mess what I'd like to like sort of decode then. What would you say is having the balance? Because of course, don't get me wrong, in that aspect, completely. Mm-hmm. No, not even in any aspect completely, because the thing is, if I didn't have self-doubt...
I love a self-day. You know about me.
Oh, wow. Okay, let me restart again. If I didn't have self-doubt, I would just... All that time that I'd wasted thinking or whatever is procrastination. I could have just been used on my... going to my goal, but then what is it? What does the balance look like to you? Because it's like, yeah, one can like where does discernment in self-doubt lie? Because it's not you can't just be like, don't have self-doubt and you'll be fine.
I think like,
so what's the difference?
To be honest, to be honest, noticing that thought is something that like, so my like thirst therapist would say like, you know, if you have a thought and you feel like you've had this thought a couple of times, you got to evaluate and think like, is this thought useful? Mm-hmm. Is this thought going to help me progress? Mm-hmm. If not, then do something else, because this thought is going to keep coming back. Mm-hmm. And like while she kind of taught me to like notice these things, it was really your influence, Sarah, that helped me deal with it. Like that 5-minute meditation in between, like when I was having a meltdown.
Oh yeah.
I'd have 5 minutes meditation and then I'd have a coffee or a tea, and then I'll be over it by then.
No, yeah, because it's like you change your senses again. Yeah. No, that's true. You have a lot of free time now.
Yeah.
Right. How are you using your free time?
So, you know what? Over the past few months, because I've been doing so much on this research, I have had so much of a thirst to do creative things. And like, so recently, actually the day that I finished my dissertation, I just bought a load of like sculpting equipment. So I bought some like plaster, some chicken wire, other kinds of wire and things like that. I'm going to start doing, some sculpturing and things. And like, I've spent every day outside because I spent every day inside for like the whole summer. And even when it's cold, I'll go outside every day. And you know me, I can't handle the cold. And I've been like powering through it. I've just been kind of doing a lot more work with my hands and a lot less with my brain. And I really appreciate it.
That's a nice way to put it. I like that because it's sort of like creative and tangible, you know. It's like you're creating things that explore, I guess, just a different use, and you must like the way that I see it, especially in like relation to tarot, you're using your mind, you're using your brain, so that's related to swords and wand. No, not swords and wand, swords and mental realm. But when you use your hands and you plant seeds, that's like pentacles, and that's external to you. So it sort of talks about like, I could have all this mental intellect and that's great, but if I'm not putting it to use in a different way, I'm gonna get burnt out. You know, like there's this card called the 10 of Swords, and it's literally like, in one of my decks, it's like a girl with looking at her phone with 10 swords plunged into her back, and everyone thinks it's quite a gruesome picture because they're seeing like the swords in her back, and it's like, it could be gruesome, it could be betrayal, it could be darkness, but also it's like the darkest time is before dawn. And it's that lightness that comes over it. It's like, I'm so mentally taken away that only I can be brought up, and like that's another sort of it's like a reintroduction into the real world again, or into the physical material world. Definitely. Which I think is quite interesting.
I definitely agree that like every time you feel like you're faced with a lot of hardships, or like you feel really drained, it's like the perfect time to take up something new, or like change up your life. Like when I was finishing this work, I felt so burnt out. And the thought, like you were saying, of like putting it into the physical realm and like exploring like taking the daggers out, you know.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like
bit by bit.
Oh my god, so you're literally taking the daggers out and putting it into the ground. You're using your mental intellect and you're planting something into the earth, and over time, because it's earth, because it's something that's buried, it will bloom into something good. You know. And that's really cool. I like that. It's cute.
Something physical can always be appreciated by others.
What new things have you done?
What new things? So, I've been doing, I don't know if you know macrame. It's like a rope. You like tie rope in like decorative ways, and you use it to like hang things up. And
is that the hanging basket?
I've just been using like the fishing line stuff that you can get. It's like it's like washing, like one of those things. It's like a really thick rope that I can get in my local for like £3.
Jokes.
For like a fat spool of it, and it's so therapeutic, Sarah. And the thing is, it's great for me because it's like instant gratification. Like you tie it, and then within an hour you've got this beautiful, lovely wall piece. So that's what I've been doing.
I love how you said instant gratification as well, because it's quite funny. Like we can waste our time looking on Instagram for all these likes, but I can get my instant gratification from creating something new.
And you've already spent the same amount of time.
Do you know what I mean? And I've created something new, and I haven't just, subconsciously or consciously absorbed the energy or comparisons of external that's presented on social media.
Yeah, definitely. Mad. And also if you're creating stuff, like when you go back onto social media,
it's something to contribute.
That's what I chat about.
Do you know what I mean? Now I have something to share.
I've been learned to do.
Do you know what I mean? I'm part of this group. Oh no, that's jokes.